Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I hope you are doing very well today. So, continuing with my discussion of the Criterion Collection Laserdiscs, I'd like to continue the conversation by approaching Criterion Collection Laserdisc spine number 2, and the title is King Kong. (1933's) King Kong. What can I say except that this is a spectacle among spectacles. This is an iconic film among iconic films. This is a landmark achievement from early 20th century cinema. It is a feast for the eyes. It is a technical marvel, special effects bonanza with a heart and with moments of real genuine thrills, gruesome violence in some respects, and it has a surprising cold edge to it. It has a certain edge of cruelty even, which still shocks and surprises me even to this day. So I can imagine the kinds of thrills and just deep-rooted, shocking moments this must have engendered back in the day. My goodness, King Kong is a behemoth. It's a titan, a towering achievement, and at its core, it is a really effective entertainment. So no wonder this follows Citizen Kane in the Criterion Collection Laserdiscs catalog, because it seems to befit its status as a kind of true epic special effects laden landmark of the early 20th century. King Kong. This is the second release from the Criterion Collection Laserdiscs. And so what we have here, my friends, is the printing that was released, according to the back anyway, in 1984. So it has similar motifs to that of the earlier Citizen Kane release. It has the silver cover motif with red accents here, and the Criterion Collection wording running down the side here like so, with the title up here in large block letters, with a still in the off-centered part of the front cover, which represents a certain aspect of the film. This is a very famous moment in the film if you know it already. So this is the front cover of this box. And then we have the back here, which is just like the earlier Citizen Kane, has the essay. This time this essay is by Ronald, and I'll get to him in a second. And it's a very good essay. It touches on certain aspects of the production history. It also talks about certain aspects of its release, and it also has arguments to be made about why it is, or why it should be considered to be an important landmark in the course of the history of early American cinema. So the essay is very worthwhile read. It's quite well written, I must say. And then we have the usual paraphernalia, or the adornments on the back cover here in terms of the chapters here. I'll get to that in a second. There's a little bit of an issue with the chapter markings, but and this is the CAV release. And so the CAV release here means that there are, two discs, 4 sides, and 1, 2, and then 3, and then the 4th side. And then the 4th side ends with a video documentary, it's called. It's a video documentary, which is a a kind of visual essay, which is similar to that which we found on the earlier Citizen Kane release. So it's one of those, it's an actual written essay, and it's about the production history of about King Kong. And you press the forward button in order to move forward page by page in this video essay. And it's very long. I would say it's quite dense. It's filled with great tidbits of information that I don't necessarily find elsewhere. Again, I'm not a scholar in King Kong and its production history, so I find many of the details in the video essay by Ronald Haver to be very interesting indeed. Very interesting, and stuff I didn't know about and I didn't necessarily find in other releases of King Kong. And I have the Blu-ray, and so some of the details that appear in the video essay on this Laserdisc are details that I'd never heard of and I didn't hear discussed in the later Blu-ray release. So there you have it. And it talks about special effects, it talks about preliminary sketches of the film, it talks about model design and construction, it gives details about script pages and budget, and also there's the original footage from Creation, Willis O'Brien's pre-Kong prehistoric monster film. Now that does appear in the later Blu-ray release of King Kong, the creation and the dinosaurs and all that. So that's nothing unique to this particular Laserdisc release now, but still it's very important as setting up a kind of context for why King Kong as a technical achievement is truly remarkable. So, but that's not the only supplement on this disc, because we have, for the first time, I think, and I understand that this is the first time we have an actual running commentary. Very significant, a running commentary by Ronald Haver. So Ronald Haver was the person who wrote the essay. He also provided the video essay, and now he's providing the running commentary. And it's amazing because it runs through the entire film, and it's not any way dissimilar to the kinds of commentaries that we would hear today, my friends. This is a commentary that's well timed. It provides background information where necessary. It more or less runs through the entirety of the film, although there are some short gaps, but not anything too distracting. So it's more or less a full running commentary from beginning to end. And this is one that is filled with many tidbits of information, as you'd expect from certain commentaries. So it's a very information-packed commentary from beginning to end, I would say. And the commentary track, I don't know if it appears elsewhere. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If you have any information about this commentary track and where it appears, please let me know. I'm not the biggest expert when it comes to later release history of King Kong, but maybe it does appear. I'm not sure. But I have the Laserdisc, so I never had to look for it. So I know it doesn't appear on my Blu-ray. That's for sure. So anyway, it's a very significant commentary, because this is the first commentary that we're seeing from Criterion and perhaps from everyone else. So very, very significant. Very significant indeed. So this release, King Kong, is very historic in the context of Criterion's history. So my friends, I'm very, very proud to show you this. And let me just very quickly show you the inside. So they have the discs inside. So as I said, there are 2 discs with 4 sides. And then we have the here we have the a kind of the letter here, which sets forth Criterion's mission statement, and also sets forth a little questionnaire that you're asked to fill out and send back to Criterion. Plus you have the letter here, which is the technical notes regarding this particular release. So that's similar to what we saw with the earlier Citizen Kane silver box set. So very interesting, if I do say so myself. But this is the box And if you look on the side, there is no spine number there, and I've never seen this silver cover box set with a spine number. I'm talking about the box set. There's another set, which is a second printing, which I'll get to in a second. So there you have it. So this is the CAV silver cover box of King Kong. Now, there is a bit of an issue with respect to the chapter breakdown. As you know, chapters are used with Laserdiscs, and this is also a bit of an innovation, I must say, because we never saw chapter breakdowns in, let's say, VHS releases because it wasn't technically possible. But we do see chapter breakdowns now and chapter stops now in DVD releases and Blu-ray releases for the most part. So we saw this way back with the earliest Criterion Laserdiscs. So and they have little titles next to each chapter, and so you can go and go directly to a particular scene that you want to go to if you want. So very helpful. But I should say that the chapter stops on this release seem to be a little bit off. Starting from, I think, side 2, the chapter stops, at least as they're indicated on the back here, don't necessarily match up with what I notice on the data that I notice on the disc of side 2. In other words, they look like they're a little bit off. So, as an example, it says here that side 4 begins with the chapter The Eighth Wonder of the World, which is the part of the film where Kong is shown in New York for the first time. So it says, according to this, that starts side 4, where actually, if you look at the actual discs, it doesn't start side 4. In fact, it's the last chapter on side 3. So there is a little bit of, that's an example of where there seems to be a somewhat of an inconsistency or some kind of error in terms of the chapter stops. In other words, the chapter stops as they're indicated here do not necessarily match how they appear, especially on sides 2, 3, and 4. So there's that. An interesting point which I want to bring up is I actually have another copy, and I wasn't necessarily looking for this, but this is the exact same release, but it's the box. But if you want to take a look, it's very interesting. I never noticed this, but this release that I have has an amended chapter sticker. In other words, this seems to be a sticker that has been affixed to the box after the box was actually manufactured, and the chapter stops here are different slightly than the chapter stops as they appeared in this earlier release. As you can see, there's no sticker here, but as you can see here, there is a bit of a sticker that is stuck on to the box there. So that seems to indicate an amended chapter stop breakdown. But even so, it's still interesting because actually this, as far as I can tell, with these particular discs, they don't match up exactly, even to this amended chapter menu. So I've never come across a silver box set that matches up exactly with the chapters as they appear in the box, even as amended like this. So if you've ever come across something like that, please let me know, and I'd be very interested to hear about that. I'm not an expert in King Kong and all the releases, but what I have here is essentially what I have, and I'm not necessarily interested, or I don't have the ability to get every single copy of King Kong that has been made, so I'm not able to check every single copy. But if you have any information about this, please let me know, because the Criterion Laserdiscs, there are so many variations. I mean, not every printing might not necessarily have been the same, so there might have been differences in terms of printing history that are just too numerous to count. So if you have any information about the discs, and if you have come across a King Kong release where the chapter stops match the chapter breakdown as it appears on the back of the box, please let me know. Okay, so that was the first printing, but then we go to this, which is the second printing of King Kong. Now, it looks the same as the earlier first printing, except you can tell that there's the addition of the Janus logo here, which is similar to the first printing and the second printing of Citizen Kane that I was very fortunate to show you before. And then we have here the back, which is like so. It's very similar to the back of the earlier King Kong box. And I should note that I can't show you the detail here, but the chapter breakdown here is slightly different than the chapter breakdown that we saw on the earlier box set. So it's very interesting indeed. And in fact, I think the chapter breakdown is yes, the chapter breakdown as it appears on the second printing matches the chapter breakdown as it appears on the box set sticker that was affixed after the fact. So this is matching, this and this are the same. So take that for what you will. But even with this chapter breakdown, the what I actually play on my disc when I put it in the player doesn't entirely match up perfectly. So very interesting. But anyway, this is not a box, but this is rather housed in this sort of sleeve here. And then we have further inside, we have the sleeves for the two discs. So this is disc 1, which is sides 1 and 2. And then, sorry about this, that's the letter. This is 3 and 4, which is sides 3 and 4. So this is the second disc. And we have on the back, we have like so. And then the first one is also like this. So very interesting way of presenting artwork with these early releases. And as you may have noticed, housed in between them is the technical notes. So that is the so-called second printing of King Kong, which I have. And there's still an issue with respect to the chapters, but I don't think that it's a major issue, because remember, Criterion is still this is still the early days, as it were, and even in this early stage, they're still producing something like this, which is really quite remarkable in terms of quality. And yes, really quite remarkable. So that's King Kong. But there are other editions that I have that I'd like to show you very quickly, and we can go from here. So this is the third printing, which is indicated as being from 1987. And as you can see, we are returning to this black motif here with a different logo, Criterion Collection here. We have King Kong in block letters, but they're in red. Plus we have the block Criterion Collection banner adorning the top here. So, and then we have the still, but there's a little bit of a cutout quality to it, and there's some overlap with King Kong's head and the wording of Kong. So that's a little bit of a nice playful touch. The artwork or cover design is indicated as being by Beth Dorfman. So there you go. And then we have the back here, and the essay is the same, and we have the same technical details. The contents are the same, but I should say that the chapter breakdown, which is indicated here, the chapter breakdown here is it's actually yet something that is very different. Yes, the chapter breakdown here is slightly different from the earlier. Yes, the chapter breakdown here is slightly different from the earlier two silver cover editions that I showed you. So there is that, but even so, there is still Let's see, what was I going to say? Yes, on side 2, there are the chapter breakdown, as is indicated, especially for the end of side 2 and the beginning of side 3, still don't quite match up. So I'm not quite sure what that is. Then if we open this up, we can see, yes, the wonderful gatefold layout there, which is a key moment of the film from King Kong. A wonderful, wonderful release. So I have a second one, and this is one that I got. Again, I don't try to get all of the permutations because I think it's quite impossible, but I got this actually by chance, because this one is indicated as being from Irvington, New York. And this one, I'm sorry, this is one where the address is being indicated as being Irvington, New York. And this is the one where the address is being indicated as Los Angeles, California. So there are also those differences in terms of the address that's indicated. So I personally don't, I'm not able to collect all of the discs with the different address indications for the specific titles. I just happen to have these for King Kong, but I don't think I have anything like that for any of my other titles in my Laserdisc collection. But I'll check as I go through them one title at a time. Then finally, we have this, which is the CLV release of King Kong. Now, this is the CLV release, so this is just one disc. But what is interesting is that, okay, so it's one disc and it's CLV, so it does not have the video essay. It does not have the video essay, but it does have as an option the commentary, sort of the Ronald Haver commentary. So that is very interesting. So there's that, and there's that right there. And as you can see, the back cover is almost the same, except for the inclusion of this little piece of artwork, which is actually the artwork that adorned the gatefold from this particular release here. So very interesting indeed, my friends. And I should add that well, let me say one other thing, actually, I forgot. So one quick thing is about the spine number. So the box set, the silver cover box set, which I have here, does not have a spine number, as you can see. Now, I've never come across any silver cover box set with a spine number. There's a second one that I have. There's no spine number. If you know of any information about silver cover King Kong with spine numbers, please let me know. I'd be very interested to hear about it. This is the second printing with the sleeves, and this does have a spine number. This is spine number 2, as you can see right there. Then with the third printing, black cover CAV with the gatefold layout there. What I have here, this copy that I have, has no spine number, as you can see. The second copy that I have of this third printing also does not have a spine number. So there's that. But yes, but the CLV release that I have, again, I apologize for the poor quality here, but please believe me when I say this does have a spine number in red. This is indicated as being spine number 2 for the CLV release. So yes, so this is a spine numbering method that seems to be mirroring the same way in which the earlier Citizen Kane Laserdiscs that I have were spine numbered. So those are the King Kong Laserdiscs that I have. So if you have any thoughts or comments or questions, please let me know. And if you have any information about any other Criterion releases of King Kong that you know of or heard of, please let me know, and I'd be so interested in hearing about it. As I may have mentioned earlier, you know, the Criterion Collection Laserdiscs are a very unique thing because there have been so many differences that occurred throughout the years and the various printings that occurred, and there's a lot of inconsistency when it comes to a particular title that has undergone different printings and different releases, because they're, sometimes the address is indicated as being a little bit different. Sometimes the frame numbers that are indicated on the technical letters or the technical notes differ from release to release. So that's also very interesting. Also, you have to make sure that the technical notes actually match the right release that you have. So I've once in a while I've come across, I've bought a Laserdisc, and the technical notes, the numbering doesn't always match up with the discs that I have. So that seems to indicate to me that there was some kind of mixing and matching that occurred with that particular release sometime in its history. So there's that, and there's also maybe differences in color and also presentation. So what I have here in terms of the CAV and CLV releases are these black covers with red lettering. If you know of any other color variations on this King Kong release, please let me know, and I'd be very interested in hearing about it. And any other information that you think I'm missing in terms of release history and permutations and different kinds of releases that you might have seen from Criterion regarding King Kong, please let me know, and I'd be very interested in hearing about it. Okay, my friends, that's basically it as far as what I have in terms of King Kong, so-called Criterion Laserdisc spine number 2. So next time I will talk about spine number 3 in the Laserdisc catalog. So in the meantime, my friends, I hope you are happy and healthy and well, and that I hope you keep on watching a lot of great, great movies. Until we meet again, my friends, cheers.